So this is good to see. And again, I keep hammering this point, and I've talked about it in interviews, but the media in this country has got to begin to understand that whatever they thought their role was, they're going to have to get a little bit more aggressive in staking out not necessarily an ideological position, but one that is based on reasonable assessments and not not functioning. I don't think that media has to function in the same way they would, and I'm anthropomorphizing them a little bit, but as a person would in a social setting. But you also can't go too far from that. Media has a special responsibility in our society. So it's nice to see, we saw this the other day. This woman on CNN is interviewing a Roy Moore supporter. And the Roy Moore supporter came out and said, congratulations on your baby. And that's what we're doing to fight for the safety of your own fetus. And she just sort of blew it off as opposed to you know what? You don't worry about my body and my baby, which is what she should have said. That would have been perfectly, it's hard in that moment to sort of contemplate that when you don't anticipate a guest doing that. But people need to start being prepared to push back. And good for this Atlanta anchor, Sharon Reed, who reacts with this. Was this a viewer? A viewer email. There we go.
As well, too, that strike a nerve on both sides of the debate, whether or not you agree that race matters in this election or is an issue in this election.
Yeah, I'm going to hold it because I think there's some confusion behind the scenes. A woman by the name of Kathy Ray emailed me. We're going to put that email on the screen and then I'll comment after it. But I think it's fair for people to see what she wrote and get my response. I'll leave it at that. You need to be fired for the race-baiting comment you made tonight. It's okay for blacks to discuss certain subjects, but not whites. And then it goes on. Let's pull up the rest of it. Okay, so really? You are what I call now she tried to write the N-word, but she spelled it. I wish we would just put it on the screen. It's after 9 o'clock at night. People have the right to see it. She wrote Niger, not a black person. You are a racist, Niger. You are what's wrong with the world. And so I would say to Kathy a couple of things. Number one, you mischaracterized what I said. I didn't say that white people couldn't talk about race. Quite the contrary. We think that race is an authentic discussion to have. It's one we're having tonight because it's one many of you are talking about at home. And it's one that has clearly entered the Atlanta mayor's race. And that's why behind the scenes, my colleagues and I, white and black, we decided, hey, let's go for it, right? Because we do try to keep it real here. And I think we do a very good job of it. So I think when arguing with somebody, you have to be careful not to mischaracterize their viewpoint. So I won't mischaracterize your view either, Kathy Ray. I get it. On December 5th, 2017, you think it's okay to call this journalist a nigger. I don't. But I could clap back and say a few things to you. But instead, I'll let your words, Kathy Ray, speak for themselves. And that'll be the last word.
Good for her.
I wonder which party the woman who tweeted that belonged to.
You suggesting that there's a propensity for members of one party to write in and say, you're not a black, you're not a black, you're a nigger.
That's my version of a Chris Rock routine.
That's right.
That's how I base everything.
Why
Mr. Chris Rock did the greatest comedic achievement in 1996 where he said there are black people and there are niggers. And I have delineated that ever since following his lead. And that's why I feel emboldened to call you that. And by the way, which is not to say...
MTV, all the time, they just say this, they say it, and this, and that, but I'm a white person, and my rights are being suppressed because I can't say that word.
Why can, Future or Snoop Doggy Dogg and any number of others, they can say it, but I can't say it. It's totally unfair.
And first
that's
off,
the last injustice in America. And it's that kind of condescension that made me vote for Donald Trump and burn a cross and call you a slur on Twitter.
That's right. It's because I'm not allowed to use the N-word. That's why Trump won.
If I was allowed to use the N-word, maybe I'd want to help, I don't know, like stop having police murder black children or something. But if I can't use it, then I'm going to vote for Trump because you're condescending and that hurts my feelings. You feel the logic there? Which is, by the way, not to also say that there aren't plenty of racist white Democrats.
We want to, but I think I mean,
the
question is like, if we were going to say everybody's going to kick in $100, and you get one guess as to what party that woman is, who's gonna choose Republican, who's gonna choose Democrat?
Oh yeah, this is a really, really hard one. I'm gonna go for. I've put $100 in. Woman who feels the need to publicly call and anchor the N-word over a segment she disagrees with because apparently she's interpreted it as offensive to white people. Republican. Oh, wait, excuse me. Yeah, go. Yeah, please, I'll take that.
Oh, we're going to give you a little time to think about it.
All right, this is hard. It's really hard. What party would a random woman who tweets out racial obscenities at a news anchor because she somehow feels that a segment on racial issues in Atlanta is targeting her as a white person, so she called the woman an N-word twice, by the way.
But you know what the amazing thing about that, too? Let me just add this. And first off, let me just apologize for doing the Southern accent because we don't know how thick her Southern accent is. But the amazing part is that when she writes that, you understand what she's saying? She's saying, like, I'm not racist. Because I have two sets I divide black people into two types. The N types and just black people. So I have a lot of black friends, but I don't have any of the N friends. That proves I'm not racist.
I divide black people into two types. One that are niggers, the other are people with endless, unbelievable amounts of patience for my disgusting behavior and bigotry that I don't even recognize, and a handful of sports figures that don't show off after a good play or nothing like that.
That's what it comes down to, right? It comes down to, in her world, black people are, or niggers are black people who actually have the audacity to speak up about something that in any way makes them self-conscious.
A real tip-off into the difference there is like some type of, another word I might use is an uppity news anchor who talks about, I don't know, like racism or something and then says, I can't talk about it. Well, how about less roles for white people in sitcoms?
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos